Mr. Trump, you either love him or you hate him. If you live in America, everyone has an opinion about him, and other people in other countries even have some opinions that are deep-rooted. They either love him or they just don't. But I thought, let's uncover why people just don't like him. You hear that, the economy is doing much better in the United States. Ever since he took power this year, the economy has been doing great. Food has gone down. The price of eggs have gone down. Things that he promised in the elections are actually coming to fruition. And of course, he's not a perfect guy, but when you hear this from the outside, I'm looking in from Canada, I'm like, he's pretty good. But when I go online, I hear all these things about how he's not a great guy. Then I thought, okay, we need to do some research. Let's put our biases aside and let's look into this guy. Clearly, he's a businessman. He's looking out for the greatness of the country. He just loves the country so much. I would say he's the typical nationalist. So why do people just not love him? Whenever I am on Instagram or Threads, I find people who are extreme left or extreme progressives. You hear certain things, they are speaking death threats to his family, to his kids. It's like, whoa, this guy. I understand that in the United States there is freedom of speech and you can say whatever you want, but I'm like, wow, this hatred is deep rooted. Why do people just not like him? So first off, let's talk about how he did not celebrate the Pride Month and people are so against that.
This week, I will also end the government policy of trying to socially engineer race and gender into every aspect of public and private life. As of today, it will henceforth be the official policy of the United States government that there are only two genders, male and female.
So now he has already made enemies with the LGBTQ plus. Now it's called the 2 LGBTQ plus group.
President have any plans on making a proclamation, or is it just going to be June this year?
Well, there are no plans for a proclamation for the month of June, but I can tell you this president is very proud to be a president for all Americans, regardless of race, religion, or creed.
And if you're anyone who supports that group and you hear that, it's like someone saying, no, we're not going to celebrate Black History Month because we care for all people. And it's like, whoa, this was our time. This was our time to shine, Or like someone saying, if you're religious, we're not going to celebrate, recognize Christmas.
What they're doing, these executive orders, they are going to kill children. Children are going to die because of the choices that they made.
Fear, anxiety, and outrage after President Trump signed an executive order Monday, his first day in office, declaring the federal government will only recognize two sexes, male and female.
I believe that it is a cynical use of disinformation to distract people from the real problems in their lives at the expense of our kids.
The executive order states, quote, "It is the policy of the United States to recognize two sexes, male and female. These sexes are not changeable."
The real impact of this order is the kind of fear and chilling effect it's going to have. It is going to create confusion, chaos, fear for transgender people.
That's why advocates say this executive order and the many more they expect to come will be a rallying call for affirmative spaces, coalition building, and community-focused supports outside of the law and political conversation.
It's important for you to understand that you are not alone. There is support, especially in a state like Connecticut.
And advocates are bringing back the True Colors Conference, what was once the largest LGBTQ youth gathering in the country, this March.
How would you feel if there was a holiday or a commemoration that you really are passionate about and then your president just says, we're not going to celebrate it because we care for all people? So I can understand if you are a diehard to LGBTQ plus group, then yeah, you're like, this guy is an idiot, for lack of better words, and you just don't like him. But he was trying to say, I guess to his defense, he just wants to make sure that the country is doing great. He had just been in power. We'll see what happens next year. I don't think that it will be celebrated as much as it did the prior administration with Biden.
And President Biden and the First Lady welcoming hundreds to the South Lawn today to celebrate Pride Month, the largest Pride event ever at the White House.
We know that this year's Pride is caught between the push and pull of progress. Outside the gates of this house are those who want to drag our country backwards, and so many battles yet to be brave.
That's why the Congress must pass and send me the Equality Act to qualify protections for the LGBT community. I recognize for a lot of folks across this country, maybe it's not you, your kid, your family member going through whatever a transgender child and family is going through. But I think we all agree, if it were you, you'd want the space to figure it out with your family and your doctor, not being told by anybody.
I saw this image of Trump painting over the flag of the LGBTQ on a road. And I know that this picture is actually AI. I don't think it's actually him, Trump, because we would have seen it on national television, him actually doing it. It is AI, but I thought, wow, that's crazy that someone went out of their way, made an AI image of that. And it just shows how the country is just divided. So it begs the question, did Trump come to bring that divide? I don't think he did. I think the divide was already there, and because of the things that he talks about, now you see the divide even more. Up next, we'll talk about how Trump is just plain out rude. He talks about Ozempic. And Ozempic is actually working for some people who have been dealing with weight issues for a long time. Like, you see so many people, you know, they used to try diet, working out, all these things, but because of their genetics, they just cannot lose the weight. Well,
Ozempic is the diabetes-turned weight loss drug that's been dubbed the Hollywood injection, with many celebs stepping out with dramatically slimmed down figures. One of those celebs is Oprah Winfrey. She revealed the secret to her dramatic weight loss was Ozempic and described it as a gift. Sharon Osbourne has also publicly shared her experience taking Ozempic for weight loss, although she said she's quitting the trendy medication as she didn't want to go this thin. Other celebrities include Amy Schumer.
Yeah. And everybody lying. Everyone's like, a smaller portion. Like, shut the right. You're on Ozempic or one of those things.
Mike and Molly actor Billy Gardell revealed he'd undergone gastric bypass surgery and taken Ozempic to lose more than 75 kilos. Chelsea Handler admitted to taking the vital diabetes drug accidentally, explaining that her anti-aging doctor just hands it out to anybody. And Khloe Kardashian was forced to address rumours that she was using Ozempic and quickly responded with, "Let's not discredit my years of working out."
The thing with Ozempic is that there just hasn't been as much research on it, so we don't know. Yes, you lose so much weight, but what is the long term, like how is this helping you in the end over time? And also, we don't know what it does to your genetics.
There are side effects, and one of the issues is there's real no rhyme or reason to the side effects. We don't really have a good understanding of what they are in people who are not diabetic, because that's what it was tested in. So we understand those to a certain extent, but for people who are taking it for weight loss, we're not quite sure. And you hear stories from people saying, yes, I had no side effects, I had tons of side effects. Most people complained of nausea and vomiting, but on top of that, there are some rare side effects of pancreatitis and kidney failures. You have to be very careful, and you won't know until you start using it if you're one of the ones that has a lot of side effects and can't tolerate it, or one that has no side effects and it's fine for you.
But President Trump, instead of explaining the reasoning to people, he puts out this this rhetoric to people.
Like an Ozempic or the fat, I call it the fat pill or the fat drug. Sometimes it works, I guess, for people. The ones I've seen, it hasn't worked so well. I got a lot of friends, they're fat. They said, yeah, I lost some weight. I said, you don't look it to me. but they pay $1,300, $1,200, and they go to London and they pay $88. And they call me, they go, what's this all about? We're subsidizing the rest of the world stupidly because there are a lot of stupid people in this country running things.
If you have been dealing with weight issues for a long time and then you see your president saying these kinds of things, it's like, what the heck? You're so rude. He says the truth, but it's also sometimes in a hurtful way, especially if you are the one with the lived experience of that specific situation. Up next, Trump is just out here to not rough up the feathers and make people not happy. He talks at the United Nations about climate change and how this is a hoax.
Another UN official stated in 1989 that within a decade, entire nations could be wiped off the map by global warming. Not happening. You know, it used to be global cooling. If you look back years ago in the 1920s and the 1930s, they said, global cooling will kill the world. We have to do something. Then they said global warming will kill the world. But then it started getting cooler, so now they could just call it climate change, because that way they can't miss. It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, there's climate change. It's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling. All of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail.
I understand where President Trump is coming from about how climate change is a hoax. It actually gets me so passionately mad because in Canada we've been paying for carbon tax for many years now, and it just got removed so that the Liberal government wins back, goes back into power.
We'll save a little, the ozone layer. Remember President Obama used to talk about the ozone layer, and then they'd fly to Hawaii to play around the Gulf in a 747.
And he goes after Obama and how former President Obama, he introduced the whole climate change and carbon tax and all these things. But meanwhile, while he was saying that, he was using the Air Force One, which uses a lot of emission, a lot of fuel, and he was going from city to city or state to state to make meetings. And it just is so concerning because the people who talked about climate change are the very people who enforced climate change are the very people who were not obeying their own rules. Anyway, that's it for today. I am wondering, what do you guys think about Trump? Do you think that he is doing good? And what do you think he's doing for the country? He is quite the nationalist. He loves United States. He's putting United States first. Even the terrorists are putting the United States first. So I'm wondering what you think about him. And I hope this video, if you were a progressive left, maybe it has helped you understand and think about the things that maybe he's trying to say. I think he's just not a great communicator. People just don't understand him. He comes off as rude, but some of his policies actually means well for the country. And if you are a Republican and you think that he's great, I wonder if you looked at the other side and how maybe he comes off, what you think about it. Anyway, I hope you have a good day and have a good one.